it's the path that I've been on. The longer I'm on the path, the more important it becomes. This book is sort of the culmination of something for me. For years, I was trying to figure out how do people really become enriched in an organization, in their personal lives, and how do they produce for that organization. And I think and it's all around relationships, so I think this model sort of does that for me. Before I got into this business, I have the word that's coming to me is a spiritual bent. I like to explore spiritual concepts, thoughts. I was thinking the other day, it's time to go back to that. Also, I think the next book is what's below the triangle. It's what's the triangle. People have told me I've been accused of being sort of more systems focused. And I think just the opposite. What I'm doing is providing a structure for people to talk about emotions, to talk about what's going on with them. But they have to have a structure to do that. And so I think the next reading is sort of going below, and it's back to the sort of the humanistic, human development movement. And it's also in myself. Now, how do what's new? One is I'm not a writer, so this was a real chore. But I'm also not a marketer. So the question is, how do I, with my set of skills and who I am, how do I learn to bring this to a larger audience? I think we stagnate without it. I think people who have stopped learning are not using sort of pieces, maybe large amounts of pieces of themselves, of their abilities, of their interests, the things that engage us in our own lives. We're sort of my time of life. I'm not a kid anymore. So now it's looking forward to learning what are the next steps? Where do I go from here? Aside from the book and making that successful and working with senior managers in ways that I hadn't been before because of this book. But it's really, what do I do next? I keep thinking I'm going to bring photography back. I wasn't able to do both because they take different parts of my brain, but it's still something that I am attracted to. So I just think lifelong learning keeps us, I'll use the common word, it keeps us youthful, keeps us engaged. I was driving yesterday, I was listening to a radio show, an interview, and it was an aha moment. I have something I do in my classes where at the end of the class it's called a ticket out. And what's an aha moment or insight you had today? Well, yesterday driving, I was listening to this radio show. It was an interview with somebody who was from the acting troupe Second City, which is out of Chicago. And it's an improvisation acting method that they use to develop their skills. And one of the things he was talking about how that works, some of the tools or techniques they use. And the fellow who was being interviewed, who was the actor, said, we use sort of yes and concepts. For instance, they get a couple of people, if they're in a scene, they get a structure for the scene, but no dialogue. So if one person talks to the other, you want to sort of in your head say yes and continue it. Or it's a technique of, we want to explore this further. That's the mentality that they bring to the improvisation. Because if you say no to the other person, it ends the scene. And I heard that, I said, that was interesting, just as a conceptual way. And then I said, that applies to the workplace. There where people are in conflict, differences of opinion. It's not, no, I don't want to do that. It's, yes, I understand that, and let's talk about that further. Or I might not agree with that point of view, but let's explore this further. So it's anything that can keep the relationship growing. And that's what happens to me often. And thank you, it's a nice learning point.
Hi, I'm Russell Sarder, Chairman and CEO of Netcom Learning. Netcom Learning's purpose is to promote the values of lifelong learning. The moment we think we know it all, we stop growing. Develop the passion for learning. Be a lifelong learner.